Welcome back to Maniacal Reader. Today I'm going to be doing the Nope book tag. This book tag was created by a booktube book. I'll put a link to her original video down below. I saw this video on Murphy Nappy's channel a few months ago, and I thought I would do this tag as well. I'll also put a link to her video down below. The first question is ending. A book ending that made you go nope, either in rage or denial, or simply because the ending was crappy. For this question, I'm going to have to answer Requiem by Lauren Oliver. This is the final book in a YA dystopian trilogy, and the book ending ends on a cliffhanger note without any resolution. The second question is, name a protagonist that you strongly dislike or drives you crazy. For this question, I'm going to have to answer Bella Swan from the Twilight series by Stephenie Meyer. I can't stand her character at all, and I actually hated the Twilight series. I only read the first book in this series, and I haven't seen any of the movies. I don't often hate characters, but Bella Swan is a character that I hate with a passion. She has no individual identity other than being obsessed with Edward. I didn't like how every thought was just consumed with Edward, and she didn't really have a personal identity of her own. I hated this about her character, and I didn't find her strong at all in any sense. The third question is series. A series that ended up being a big pile of nope, especially after you've invested so much time in a series. This could be a series that you've invested a lot of time in, or a series that you just gave up on because you thought it wasn't worth it anymore. For this question, I'm going to have to answer the House of Night series by PC and Kristen Cast. This is a YA paranormal fantasy series, and I did like the beginning books in this series. This book has like 11 books in it total, but I found that as the series went on, the plot lines and the characters just became reused and recycled basically, and there wasn't really a lot of new stuff to explore in the series, especially since it went on for so long. Also, I found the final book in this series to be anticlimactic. To have the final book in a series be anticlimactic after spending so much time reading this series, I didn't really like that at all. The series went up and down for me, and overall, it just seemed disappointing, even though there are a lot of books in this series. The next question is, a popular ship that you didn't like. I don't know if this ship is popular necessarily, but a certain relationship that I didn't like is the relationship between Nan and Gannon in Up in Flames. Up in Flames is a book in the Rosemary Beach series by Abby Glines, and this is a long new adult romance series. I felt the relationship between Nan and Gannon was too sexual in my opinion, and it didn't really seem that there was a genuine emotional connection between these two characters. So because of that, I didn't really like the relationship very much. The next question is, name a character decision that made you shake your head. For this question, I'm going to have to answer Kala from the Nightshade series by Andrea Kramer. She was so indecisive and wishy-washy in her decisions, I didn't like her character whatsoever, which is why I ended up giving this first book in the trilogy 2 stars and didn't end up continuing the trilogy because of her. I strongly disliked her as a main character. The next question is, name a genre you'll never read. I don't want to say that I'll never read this genre, but one genre that I'm hesitant to pick up, or that I barely ever pick up, is YA fantasy or adult fantasy. I just find fantasy in general intimidating, but I'm definitely hoping to change that this year in 2018. So hopefully fantasy in general won't be a genre that I stay away from much longer. We'll see. One of my goals this year is to read more YA fantasy, so hopefully I like the genre this year. The next question is, name a book format that you avoid buying or that you hate until it comes out in a different edition. For this question, in terms of a book format, I read a lot of physical books, and I like reading paperback books, but one thing that I can't stand about paperback books is when the pages have deckled edges. By that I mean when paperback books have ruffled edges, and edges that aren't really straight. I feel that this ruins my reading experience of a book that has deckled edges, because I just don't like how it feels in my hand, and it's awkward to turn pages when pages have deckled edges, so I don't really like those at all. I avoid buying books with deckled edges. I'll read the hardcover edition of a book if the paperback has deckled edges, or I could just read the book on my Kindle. But I know that I would never own a book that has deckled edges. I just can't do it. The next question is a book trope that you hate. A book trope that I hate is a female character who has no personal identity of her own, and she's too invested in a guy in the relationship, and her whole reason for living is basically to fall in love with a guy and be in a relationship with a guy. I can't stand that in books, and I feel that female characters should have an identity of their own separate from the relationship and separate from the guy. This is completely evident, especially in Bella Swan from the Twilight series. This is the main reason why I hated her as a character and why I could just not continue on with the series. Book recommendation. A book that is recommended to you based on the hype or simply pushed at you that you simply refuse to read. I don't know that there's a book out there that I would absolutely refuse to read, but one genre of a book that I don't like is erotica. So I'd never read a book like 50 Shades of Grey, for example. I love new adult romance, and I like seeing characters fall in love and a relationship that actually has substance to it. And I don't think erotica has that romance or relationship element to it very much. So this is why I'll never read erotica. It's just not a genre that I'm into, and it's not my cup of tea. The next question is, name a book cliché or pet peeve. Other than what I've already mentioned about female characters and Bella Swan in general. So I don't really have an answer for this one. The next question is, name a love interest that you don't think is worthy of being one. Again, I read a lot of new adult romance, and I don't really see any character that's unworthy, in my opinion. So again, I can't really answer this question. The next question is, name a book that you don't think should have existed. In my opinion, I don't count any book out. All books are worthy of being published, and everyone in the world has different reading tastes. So I can't think of a book that shouldn't have existed. The next question is, name a villain that you would hate to run across, or one that would make you run in the opposite direction. For this question, I'm going to have to go with Queen Lavanna from the Lunar Chronicles series by Marissa Meyer. I think Queen Lavanna is a terrific villain in what he does, and she really adds a lot of depth to the series. But if she was real, I wouldn't want to cross her, since she does evil and deadly things. She's really an abusive and manipulative character, so I definitely wouldn't want to cross paths with her at all. The next question is character death. Name a character death that you're still affected by. And for this question, that's an easy answer for me, and that would be Jace from the Rosemary Beach series. Jace is a character that's a good friend to a lot of the characters in this series, and his death was sudden and unexpected. I think his death was a shock and definitely unexpected to a lot of readers who like the Rosemary Beach series. And to this day, I'm still affected by it. I didn't like the fact that Jace died. I felt that his death was unnecessary. The last question to this tag is author. Name an author that you've had a bad experience with and have decided to quit. I've had a bad experience with Stephenie Meyer. That series is popular with a lot of people, and a lot of people have good memories of the Twilight series, but I personally didn't like the first book. And Stephenie Meyer hasn't written much. She's not a really prolific author in my opinion, and since I've just had a bad experience with Twilight, I don't think I'd be interested in her writing style or any of her other books. Those are all of the questions for this tag. Comment down below and tell me what some of your answers to these questions might be. If you want to see more videos from me, I'll put some videos on the screen in case you guys want to check those out. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in my next one.